Hmm. Clear sky. Today is our guest, Jim Rutenbeck. Welcome, Jim.
Hello, good to see you, Joseph.
Thank you. Jim, I looked to your clubs where you belong, and you belong to several astronomy clubs. Tell me about it.
So, a little bit of a long story. I grew up in Clinton, Iowa. I have been interested in astronomy for a long time, so that's probably another story. But anyway, I
I will
learned
ask
of
you
the.
that later, okay? But
Okay,
now
okay,
let's answer those
yeah.
clubs.
I joined the Quad City Astronomical Society. Then I found out there was a second club in the Quad Cities, the PAC, Popular Astronomy Club. So I've been a member of both of those for a long time. About 10 years ago, my wife and I retired. We moved to Florida at least half of the year. We still get back to the Quad Cities too. But and so I joined about four different clubs in the Sarasota area. So from St. Petersburg down to Naples, Florida, I'm a member of a number of different clubs there.
Okay. I will come back to your beginnings, astronomy beginnings, but not to forget. So Florida is really more south, more than maybe 28 degrees and even lower, like Key West. So I remember I went to Florida like 10 years ago, and my goal was to see Bright Star Canopus, which is one of those navigation stars. Do you have any projects or to see constellations or objects which are not visible from Iowa?
Uh, sure, there's some interesting things in the southern sky, and Florida isn't
Absolutely.
maybe as far south as you'd like to go if you got below the equator, but um, uh, first of all, the Southern Cross would be one thing that a lot of people can relate to. As a matter of fact, I have some friends that are on a cruise right now, and they just sent me a photo of the Southern Cross that they could see from South America. Anyway, you can see it from Sarasota, but just barely. Uh,
Mhm.
it's a lot better from, say, the Keys. If you get down to the Keys, the Winter Star Party, I've gone to a number of times, and you can, see it. It at the right time of the year, it'll be visible maybe for an hour or so as it skims above the ocean. So, for example, and then of course there's some fabulous clusters of stars, globular cluster that that you can see from the Sarasota area. But again, it's pretty much in the southern sky.
So you are members of several clubs, including clubs down, at Florida. So how it happened that you are interested in astronomy?
Okay, so I don't know when very young I was interested in astronomy. My parents gave me a 50 millimeter refractor when I was about 12 years old as a Christmas present. And then when I was in junior high, a friend of mine and I ground a 4.25 inch mirror. We built a wooden mount in wood shop, and so we used that telescope for a number of years. Then I started out, went to the University of Iowa, started with a major in physics and astronomy, took an astronomy class from Dr. Van Allen. He was a very good instructor. Um, at the university in the astronomy labs, we were able to use different telescopes, but at the time they had a relatively new 25-inch reflector, and the students were able to look through that. Kind of as a side note, interestingly, that telescope is now owned by the Cedar Rapids Astronomy Club, and so that is going to be that group is going to be hosting the um, uh, Astronomical League regional convention in Cedar Rapids. So that telescope will be one of many that they have that will be available for people to see. Uh, but anyway, partway through my education, I decided that maybe engineering would be a more practical profession. And so I switched and got a degree in chemical engineering. And I worked for 3M for 42 years, but I have retained an interest in astronomy. And so across that period of time, once I started to work, I had a little bit of money to be able to buy some equipment, and I've bought a lot of telescopes, and I enjoy working on them, and I've built some more telescopes. So that's a good part of the hobby that I really like, and it is interesting how many different aspects to the hobby there are. Uh,
I hear so many things which I would like to ask you. First of all, you you met or you was actually student of Van Allen,
that's correct.
who discovered basically he discovered from data of the first U.S. satellite
Yeah, the Van Allen
that,
radiation
that
belts.
radiation. Wow.
Yeah.
Could you tell me more about him? How, what was your experience with him?
Well, first of all, he taught a beginning astronomy class. So in that class, you had I had a friend that was a nursing student, and she took the astronomy class because she thought it might be the most interesting and easy science class to get through. And actually, he was a very good instructor, even for people that weren't highly mathematically oriented
Mhm,
physics
mhm.
majors, and he really could relate to the people. So he was very interesting from that standpoint. One story that I'll tell you is I had a friend that was an economics major. Actually, he was a roommate of mine. And we had gone to the physics department one evening. And when we got on the elevator, Van Allen just happened to get on the elevator and ride up a few floors with us. And he just said, "Hello, boys." And after he got off, my roommate said, "I don't know who that is, but I can tell that guy is smart." So just kind of an
Nice.
interesting story there.
Wow. Wow. Other thing, what you said, so you used to build telescopes or various devices. Could you tell me more?
Well,
What it,
we ground that 4 inch, 4 and a quarter inch mirror. That's the only mirror I've actually ground.
Mhm,
Um, and then the other extreme is I bought a 20 inch uh, mirror and built
mhm.
a Dobsonian telescope around that mirror. So other than not grinding that mirror, I pretty much, bought components, made components, built the entire telescope. I still have it. It has a control system called ServoCat. And so
Mhm.
it has the ability to track as well as go to. So it's a pretty neat telescope. Yeah.
And true is it was slightly different era, and many people did their own telescopes. Now there is actually mass production. You go to Amazon or some website and click and you can buy. So it's amazing that you was able to do it, because I mean you have to have many skills, optics, mechanics, and
Well, I
so.
was blessed that my father was a general contractor, so he taught me, how to work with tools and do a lot of things that way. And
Mhm.
I had some equipment available to me, and um, yeah, I just, he had a lathe, for example. So yeah, it facilitated building things.
So you are a member two clubs in Iowa. So do you have any formal role over there, or what do you do in those clubs? And I would say that it's probably over summer, right? Because in winter time, most likely you are in Florida or not.
No, that's right. That's right. Half the year and in the wintertime, we're in Florida. But with Zoom meetings now being so available, it makes it a little easier to participate, even though you're a distance away. I'm currently the vice president of the Quad City Astronomical Society. Over the years, I've, been the treasurer and no, yeah, no, I was the treasurer. That's right. I've been the treasurer as well as some I have not been the president of that group. But,
Okay. And both clubs, they have observatories or?
yes, the Quad City Astronomical Society, well, yeah, let's talk about the Quad City Astronomical Society. Um, has had an observatory in Clinton County for about 30 years. About 5 years ago, we decided to move and go to the same site that St. Ambrose has their
Mhm.
observatory located um, at a park. Um, and so we were able to. They had a hard road as opposed to a gravel road that accessed the property. They had a classroom, bathrooms, running water,
Mhm.
heat, air conditioning. So they really had some uh, facilities that we were able to make use of. So we moved our telescopes and built a couple of observatories on that site. So that's what the Quad City Astronomical Society has. It's located north of the Quad Cities, maybe 20 miles. So when we look to the south, we do see the light pollution from the Quad Cities adversely affects us. So our sky is better overhead, maybe to the north. And the
Mhm.
Popular Astronomy Club has a mobile observatory with Al Scheidler. I know you interviewed him and he's talked about some of
Yeah.
those things. So they have a mobile observatory that they can take to places. And then, in the last 10 years, they've built a observatory south of the Quad Cities. So that gives them a better view of the southern sky. So, many of us are members of both clubs and, can use those different locations and can take advantage of the advantages of each location.
Mhm. Mhm. So this is actually unique in that area because you have actually two opportunities, two clubs. Of course, each club is probably slightly different, but still there is a lot of overlap. Um, are you participating in some citizen science projects or uh, except public events?
Um, so citizen science projects, I don't know, nothing comes to mind there. We certainly, feel a obligation as well as an interest in
Hmm.
sharing the night sky with any of the public that are interested in coming. And so we have open houses at the QCAS Observatory once a month during the typically during the new moon uh, times because the observatory is located, 45 minutes outside of town. So, it makes a commitment to get there. There's no use going out there and having a full moon in the sky
Yes.
to get to a dark site. But yeah, so we do open it up, to the public and encourage people to join the club, and so.
Do you have any connection with other clubs than those two clubs here in Iowa? I know that you are well connected actually down in Florida, but
Well, I guess in two ways. Last year we joined the Astronomical League, so we'll probably, have a little bit more connection with some of the other
mhm,
clubs that are
mhm,
in the Astronomical League. In addition to that, I've gone to a number of star parties. There's one in the close towards Chicago called the Bootleg Star Party. Um, there used to be the Astro Fest, which was put on by the Chicago Astronomical Society, um, and the Eastern Iowa Star Party. So we do have some interaction with
mhm.
other clubs in the area and other individuals in the area, but not extensive.
So yeah, and true is those star parties are actually opportunities to connect with other people and talk to them because again, face to face is the best way to connect. And but you have also experience in Florida, so there is probably similar organization like North Central region of Astronomy League. So do you have experience down there in Florida? With their organization. I don't know what is name of that part of
Yeah, I
astronomy
forget I
league.
forget what it is, the Southeast
Yeah.
region or something like that, that probably includes
Yes.
Florida, Georgia, and maybe a few of the Carolinas or something like that. I know that the club in Florida that I'm most involved with is the one that's centered in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Okay.
And they also have recently joined the Astronomical League. So for the
Oh,
first couple of years, I didn't hear much of the Astronomical League from them, but I know they have joined too. So there'll probably be a little more connection with that.
okay.
Uh,
Next Astronomy League conference for North Central region will be in mid-May in Cedar Rapids. Are you going to that
yeah,
conference?
yeah, I'm planning to go. I think I haven't been over to their facility for a number of years. It's so close to us that, hour and a half drive or something. It's shouldn't miss that opportunity to go. So I
Uh,
plan to go.
Good. Well, I plan to go as well, so I hope that I will see you there in person.
Okay, yeah,
Jim,
because
it
they,
was very good
they,
to talk to you and see you then maybe in May in Cedar Rapids.
all right, sounds good. We'll look forward to it.
Okay. Um, Clear sky.